going on? It's your boy Palien Vasion. We are back with another episode of SpacePod TV. This is going to be in season 7. You know, the new and improved looks. Shout outs to KG Lifestyles group for filming. Anyways, we are here on SpacePod TV. I'm here with the one and only Stuart James is in the building, y'all.
Hey.
How's it going, bro?
It's going good. I've been hearing a lot about SpacePod. Jance told me he started engineering here, so I was like, man, like it's just crazy how it works out. I think it's just the timing is like, you know, he started doing that here, and then he was like mentioning it, and then Kevin reaches out. So
yeah, honestly, I think that is crazy how the timing works because right before Jansen offered to work here, or right before we even like started actually seriously discussing it,
yeah.
Our main engineer had to start taking some time off due to some family issues.
Yeah.
So like when he was about to take time off, here comes Jansen.
Yeah.
And like perfect timing. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. And you know, the more that happens, the more you just don't even question it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's gonna line up how it's supposed to.
It's like, yeah, that's what it was supposed to be, and that's what it is now.
Mm-hmm. So what brings you on the pod, my guy?
Well, Kevin, I remember he reached out. This was probably, I don't know when this was, but I just wasn't in a good space. Like, you know, little backstory about me. I'm from the Spirit Lake Reservation here in North Dakota.
Okay.
I'm an enrolled member of the MHA Nation. So, you know, I grew up on the res, and then I recently moved to Fargo back in 2021. So, you know, it was like a lifestyle change from being out there where it's like you're not really required to work. Like,
Yep.
Rent's not an issue out there. You know, because it's like there's a couple of people living there that are working. So it's like, you know, I could focus on music and didn't have to work full time. So the adjustment of coming here, and, you know, I'm not afraid to work at all. It's just the adjustment of like not having energy all the time to do it. It took away from the artistry a little bit. I had to adjust and figure out how to do it. And then fast forward to 2022, my mom, she ended up passing away. She was sick for a few years.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And she passed away. So then after that, like in our culture, the like Dakota culture, like sometimes we believe that like when you lose a family member or someone close to you, you put away what you love doing for a year, in you know, as a way to mourn them, to actually feel everything and kind of like soak up and actually grieve, basically.
Right.
So I kind of like chilled out on music and was just like allowing myself to go through all of that. And then so during that time, I didn't, you know, even like going into this year, after we had like it's called a wiping of the tears ceremony, and it's just your way of like actually letting them go.
Yeah.
And so after that, it felt like, all right, like time to start going again, time to start doing music again, like really, really doing it. And I think like during that time, I had to like throughout this past year, I had to like get back in the mood of actually wanting to be a rapper, of actually wanting to like go out and do it, because it's like when you're going from chilling and feeling all this stuff and not being in a mood to want to do anything to having to adjust back to it and actually like get that persona back and all that. It was a hard thing. So like now I finally feel like I'm in a place for that, and finally feeling like I'm ready to do that and actually want to do that, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I'm just also trying to like promote the music, I do youth media workshops
cool.
on reservations and stuff. So in that workshop, we teach them how to write, songs. Just we practice different forms of writing. Then they create an idea for a song, and then they end up recording the song, making the beat, and then we like shoot a video for it and all that. So
Is that what are you doing that with Jansen?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So whenever he's talking about doing that stuff on the reservations and stuff like that, that's with you.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I did my first one this year in Belcourt, and then I did another one in Spirit Lake at the Minnewacan High School.
Okay.
And then we did our one at Four Winds recently. So yeah, it's pretty fun being able to do that. So yeah,
Nice.
I brought Jance out for that at this last one, because it's a little easier when you got, you know, multiple artists that know how to write, especially somebody who knows how to do everything. He knows how to like mix and master and everything. So, and somebody who has passion for it, you know, he's able to get the kids involved a lot better than one person.
Yeah. How'd you come across that opportunity then?
I mean, it was an idea that I had for a long time, because I remember you know, like in our way, like my mom and dad, they were very good teachers. They helped explain things a lot. So I learned throughout the years that I could simplify things for people.
Yeah.
So like, you know, basically like a teacher. And so I just had this idea one day. I was like, that'd be cool to teach kids how to do this, because, you know, where we're from, it's like a lot of kids don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to express their feelings or even communicate anything. They just pretend everything's okay when it's not.
Right.
So it's like, and I was like that too as a teen. So it's like I just had this idea. I was like, that'd be cool to teach kids how to do this. But it was like, okay, like teaching them how to write and communicate their feelings, but also like hip hop helped me. So it was like, that'd be cool to teach them how to do that. And then since I know how to do videos, it was like, that'd be cool to put it all together.
Yeah.
And be able to do that. So that idea was like, it was, you know, years ago I thought of that, but I didn't think that as an artist, I didn't think my name was big enough. I didn't think that I had good enough music yet to be able to pitch that. So
you created that service by yourself then?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
there's people that do it. You know, there's other people you know, around the country that do stuff like that. But I think what separates me from that is like I try to keep it true to the kids. Like whatever they're talking about, I don't want to change too much of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Like, you know, it'd be easy to write a song for them and say, you guys just do this, you know, but it's like letting them figure it out, letting them find their way through it, kind of helps with character building, because like the skills that are being taught through that workshop can really go a long way in life as well, like problem solving, being able to communicate with people, and being able to figure out, you know, what works best, and just learning how to communicate, you know, because media is like a big thing, and especially in Native country, there's a lack of media. Like all of our issues get, you know, they don't get covered but at the same time, we're not covering it. So it's just teaching everybody how to take control of your own narrative instead of letting somebody else control it.
Yeah, I feel like as a society, if you're not able to express yourself on like a person-to-person level and like tell people how you feel and say how things are affecting you, that's what could be recipe for a disaster as far as mental health goes.
Yeah.
So being able to use that for them as an outlet, like music-wise, like that's very powerful.
Yeah, and the best part about it too is like, is they can go home and whatever they learned, we tell them like, you can do this at home. You don't need, if you have an iPhone, you have a 4K camera. Like you don't need all this craziness. Like that's something I had to learn over the years too. It was like, you know, like what I lacked as an artist sometimes in ambition, I was like, I thought, oh, if I get a new camera, it'll motivate me to like get up. If I get a new mic, I've had the same mic since 2015, you know, and some people, they get the highest quality stuff, but then they still don't get nothing done.
I know.
So it's like, I had to learn how to like, you know, motivate myself in order to motivate others. And and a lot of that was through that grieving process. You know, it's like, I had to look at my life and be like, what do I want to do in life? What do I really, really want to do? And then that kind of like helped get me up off my ass and start helping others too. So
yeah, that's definitely something that you have to have, is like an actual passion for what you're doing. Because I mean, for example, like there was times where in the studio, you know, when I was in the building process and stuff like that, I was like, dude, as soon as we get this new piece of equipment, man, it's game over, bro. Like, they won't even know what hit them. I'm going to be working so hard. I'm going to be in here 24/7. Like, that's not life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's no different than you going and buying a Ferrari and thinking that you're all of a sudden going to become a super successful, busy guy overnight.
Yeah.
Like, you could be taking out a loan for that just trying to flex on people, and you're still not going to change who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to come from within. Like, if there's no passion, then try to find something else that you're passionate about, because it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just like, I kind of had to learn that over the years with, you know, the direction of the music. Because when I first started writing and creating music, it was like, I want to be the best rapper. I want to be the best punchline rapper. I want the best flow. I want all this and that. And it came from a place of like pure hip hop, where it was like people wanted to outdo each other, but not in a way of like trying to shit on somebody. It was like, it's just like basketball. It's just like, you know, like that's because basketball is my first love. So like when I play ball, it was like, I'm not losing. I don't want to lose, you know? And it was like, and I think that musically, that's kind of where it came from too. So, you know, it's like you have to learn how to motivate yourself and get up and nowadays it seems like everybody just wants to be cool. Everybody just wants to be popular, and it's not about passion anymore. It's not about whatever. So it's like I could have took the route of making what everybody else makes and just falling in line and getting followers. But I learned I don't feel good doing that. I don't feel like myself. I don't feel true to myself. It's almost like, like lying and cheating on a test. It's like, can you really be proud of that? Did you really do that? It's like, nah,
I would have to say, like, as far as an artist, if you're the type that's just like clout chasing, trying to stay relevant, just giving your fans what they want, fan retention for someone like that versus someone who keeps it real, they're not even comparable.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can be forgotten so quickly if you're just, like, a hype rapper or, like,
Yeah.
oh, this dude ain't doing shit anymore. Fuck this guy. But if you're an actual established artist who has, like, a personal connection with your fans and you're, like, real, you keep it real, dude, they will stick around for, like, pretty much ever.
Yeah.
And they'll wait for you to come back. They'll be patient. You know what I'm saying? But, like, as far as, like, if you're just keeping it fake, man, like, you're gonna lose your followers just as fast as you gain them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we had that conversation before all this about how nowadays it's like everybody's looking for what's in it for themselves. Like for instance, if we're both rappers and you got 10,000 followers, the mindset a lot nowadays is like, you have 10,000 followers, I have 500. I want to work with you because I want some of your followers.
Yeah.
Compared to genuinely wanting to work with somebody. Nowadays, it's like, what can I get out of it?
Yep.
And I think that the mentality that they don't understand is there's plenty for everyone to eat out here. But it's like nobody thinks like that. Everybody's just like, I need this now. And everybody's in a state of survival and panic of like, it's like, instead of making long-term investments, everybody, wants everything now. And it's
instant gratification.
Yeah. And I had a conversation with my fiance about this, like, about how this generation is like that, because you can go on TikTok and be amused. All you gotta do is open the app and you're amused. Like, when I was growing up, like, I'm 30, so it's like, when I was growing up, you had to go on YouTube. You had to like look up stuff to
or
be
Google
intrigued.
Video.
Yeah, you had to go and search out for that stuff to be intrigued. Now it's just like, you open it up, you can laugh, you can feel emotion, all these things right in the palm of your hand. And it's just it's like that with music too. It's like, people don't have to write no more, because all you gotta do is just freestyle some half-ass thought.
Dude, you could literally just be like, give me an hour. All right, I'm gonna go find a beat on YouTube. All right, I'm just gonna fucking freestyle some random shit. And if it's engineered well enough, you could literally turn that into a hit. Like,
yeah.
And people will just bump it, and they'll be like, I don't really know what it means, but it's catchy.
Bro, I have certain conversations with people where I'm like, that they'll listen to like, like the mumble rap stuff, and I was like, dang, what did he say? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like I'll do that on purpose just to see if they even know what the hell they're saying. And it's like, I think music transitioned from, like, I mean, it's always been about vibes, but now it's more about vibes than it is a message.
Yeah.
And so, but the best part about it is, like, artists who are about that message, there always comes this certain shift I've noticed, like, in years where, for so-and-so, this amount of years, it's all about catchiness. Then people get tired of that. So then they want to get back to, like, okay, I need something to resonate with me. I need something to connect with. And I feel like those types of artists can, it's almost like on Finding Nemo, the little exit part,
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like so many rappers they'll have their exit and blow up in this little funnel of, like, the chaos of the music scene. Like, there's so many rappers out that, like, very few make it, but it's like there's always this little section in time where, like, those artists are gonna thrive. There's always this little part that comes where they're gonna, like, make it out and then end up, like, killing it. But it's like, there's, you kind of got to go through the bullshit to get the real stuff.
Yep. I feel like if you're a dedicated artist, if it depends on, like, how much you invest into this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're just every single day giving it your all and, like, trying to learn new techniques, learn new marketing tactics, learn how to network better every day, I don't think there's any reason why you wouldn't eventually reap success from that.
Yeah.
Because, like, your brain literally is being trained over time to become a quicker performing computing system.
Yeah.
And eventually it's just going to be like, oh, I know what to do.
Yeah.
I just got to do this for a couple of days, and then, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it just clicks. And then once you're established like that, it's like, Yeah, it can get to your head pretty easily.
Yeah,
You know?
and I think that the other thing is that people don't. I appreciate the process. I appreciate the like sitting down and going through samples, going through this, like going through beats and finding like my process is really like emotion. Like if I hear a beat and it makes me feel fucked up, if it makes me feel happy, whatever,
Yeah.
it has to. There's this certain like level that it hits where I'm like I got to do something to this.
Yep.
And if it don't hit that level, I'm like.
Yeah.
But it's like most people are like, I just seen this interview with Rick Rubin, and he said like what people think shouldn't even be a thought in your creation process. What people are going to think about it. He said because it should feel good to you.
Yeah,
if it
I
feels
agree
good
with
to
that
you,
for sure.
like then people, it's not up to us who likes it. It's not up to us. Like I could probably make a song where if there's 3 people in the room, none of them might like it, but I love it.
Yeah.
Or, if I make a song, 3 people in the room, you might like it and the other 2 might not. And it's like that's not up to us. And I think we have to just let it be that. And I think nowadays it's. I have this line in this song where I said, "I ain't got the time for grown men starting drama. I ain't your therapist. Deal with your trauma." It's like I shouldn't have to sit here and try to fill this void within myself with artistry. Artistry should be something beautiful. And I just feel like everybody's trying to fill these voids in their lives with this gratification that comes with being an artist or being successful. It's like, oh, if I make $1 million, I'm gonna be happy. It's like, no, you're gonna still be miserable with that $1 million.
Yeah, you're just gonna be rich and miserable.
Yeah. So it's like what you said, it starts within, and I don't think people understand that enough. It's like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough. And whoever said it, who said it was gonna be easy?
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm 30. I just turned 30 this year, and like, it seems like I'm more focused than I've ever been. And it's like, I have people who are like 18, 19, they'll reach out and be like, "Man, why is nothing hitting?" And I'm like, "Bro, you've been doing this 1 year."
Here's what I have to say about that. I know there's a lot of like scientific claims that like men don't actually mature until they're about 30. Like they don't actually like hit their peak or like decide what they want to do with their lives. And honestly, I feel that.
Yeah.
Because ever since I've turned 30 or, getting to 31, I'm 31 now.
Yeah.
But like around that time period is when I started actually taking my life serious.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whoa, dude, I can't keep fucking up like this. Like I got to get my shit together because you don't want to be 40 and still not know what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
Like that'd be rough.
I seen this clip of Jordan Peterson when he said something about like, that's fine in your 20s. That's fine to be, broke, figuring out what, but if you're 30 and past that and you still don't know what you're doing, like, what the f are you doing?
Yeah.
And I think like, there's that line from Nas when he said on that song Classic where he said, "Oh, you went platinum, yeah, that's nice. Now let me see you do the same thing twice, 3 times, 4 times, and a couple more times," because it's like everybody can get this moment of like going viral. Everybody can get that moment, but it's like, can you do that again?
Yep.
Did you intend to do that? Did you try to do that? Was that your because most people are they're just throwing shit out, and sometimes it sticks, sometimes it don't, but it seems like everybody nowadays wants everything they do to be viral, and it's like that ain't realistic, because even the people who went viral, like those people that have hundreds of thousands of likes on TikTok, they're getting there's a bigger picture behind it, like,
oh yeah,
like what J. Cole said, like how many faking they streams.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fake streams, a lot of fake followers, a lot of fake likes. Like there's a lot of that going on, and I think that our generation is conditioned to think like, or this generation, I wouldn't say our generation, but like this generation is conditioned to think like they have this many followers, they have this many likes, they must be important.
Right.
And it's like, nah. Like,
and half the time they could be some like weird person that you definitely don't want to associate with.
Yeah.
Because they're just like mentally fucked up.
Yeah.
And I would say another thing about like the viral moments thing is like, say you did post a TikTok, it blew up, got like 1 million plus views, whatever, lots of likes, comments. And say you like felt that feeling of fame and you're like, oh my God, I'm famous. Like this is amazing. And then you make another post and it doesn't do anything. How do you think that's going to affect your psyche?
Yeah.
You're going to be like, holy shit, I thought I was like on top of the world. Now I'm like in the bottom of a fucking pit right now. Like this is a horrible feeling.
Yeah. And I think that like, I think that's why, I would really like to start like an artist development type thing where like, like So my brothers, like, I have a couple, even friends that I call brothers, but like, I got really close friends and my real brother. So like, when I would make music, these were heartless. Like,
Yeah.
but it wasn't from a place of like being mean. It was like I made something and I thought it was dope. I thought I made the coolest shit ever in my life. And then I
Yeah.
showed it to him and he was like, he listened to it and he wasn't like, he wasn't like, oh, he didn't react the way I thought he was gonna
Yeah.
react. And he was just like, I was all right.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. It was like, what the and but little did I know that it set this goal where it was like, okay, I'm gonna show you a song eventually where you're gonna be like, that's dope.
Yeah.
And I think that this, like a lot of people's minds now, they're so sensitive that like, if somebody said like, that ain't it,
Mm-hmm.
they get so offended. They
Then
get
your whole career is over pretty much. You're like, oh, well.
And whoever said that is a hater now. It's like, nah, bro. Like some people just don't like that. Like that's okay. But it's like there's 7 billion people in this world. Why are you worried about one? You know? And it's like there's so many more people who haven't heard this that might think it's dope. But also the reality is sometimes it's just whack.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there to tell them that.
Yeah.
And my brothers and them were like, one of my brothers, I showed him some. He was like, it's all right. It's not your best work. And I was like, and I thought he was joking, but he was like mad serious. And I think like artist development is a real thing. Like what you said about that viral moment, when you're used to putting out and it's not hitting, it is a surprise when something goes crazy. But you're used to that feeling of not hitting.
Yeah.
So then you start looking at the analytics of it. What's so crazy about this that it went viral?
Mm-hmm.
You can, instead of looking at it from that perspective, most people would be like, oh, this ain't hitting, I'm done.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, you had one thing go viral. What was so different about this one? What was so different about, analyze it. Why did people like this but not this? Okay, this over here, I've noticed a lot of things on different platforms. Like on TikTok, my fast rapping goes crazy.
Yeah.
On Instagram, it's more of like the wordy, kind of like sophisticated type, like music video type cinematic stuff.
Right.
And on Facebook, it's like, the more personal stuff goes crazy.
Yep.
YouTube, it's the more intellectual. So it's like each platform has its own like criteria or own following or whatever. And it's like, but people they're looking at views, they're looking at likes, and they're not looking at, like, why is this one popping on TikTok but not on YouTube?
Yeah.
Then you start it's like people just, I don't know. I just think people don't look at stuff like that. It's more of like I said, that instant gratification, like, oh, this didn't go viral, so it must not be cool.
Yeah, that's not the right mindset to have, because I mean, it wasn't even that long ago. There was a point in time where none of that even mattered.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, listen to here's a burnt CD of some of my music on it. Like,
most people never know that grind.
Yeah. You know what? We were around, during the beginning of social media, but also we experienced what it was like to have to hand out mixtapes on CDs and like, you know what I'm saying?
With no return sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
you literally just have to cold approach people and be like, hey, I'm an artist. Check out my music. It's free. And then you might hear you might see a comment from them on a YouTube video of yours or something, or that's about the most.
Yeah, and it's like now it's like I remember one time I had this mixtape and it had like 16 songs on it. I thought it was dope. Looking back, it probably wasn't the best quality, but the messages were like, they were solid in there.
Yeah.
But I remember I had taken those CDs, and this was probably like 2013. And I took a trip to Minneapolis, we went to Mall of America, all that stuff. But I had a grip of CDs on me, and I was just like, I'm not selling these. People don't really want them. I just started going around the parking lot, putting them on people's windshields.
Yeah.
But people don't realize like there's a real grind involved with that stuff. And I think some artists too, they get to a certain point where they think they don't got to do that anymore. I got to that point where I was like, okay, people know me now a little more than they did 2 years ago. Like, I'm just, I don't need to press it no more. And it's like, yeah, then you lose followers, then you lose momentum.
Yeah.
Now you got to build back up to that.
I feel like the game of life in general, in my opinion, should be just constant expansion.
Yeah.
Whether it's spiritually, physically, monetarily, you know, it all makes sense and it all means something, you know, and it's only when you become stagnant and like lazy or content, that's when like, yeah, that's when your mind can just take a shit on you and you just get depressed and then, you know, whatever. But I feel like as human beings, we're meant to just keep moving.
There's a line that or a quote that said, "Boredom is the devil's playground."
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like when you get, like you said, when you get to that point, that's when, you know, like if you're used to going to the gym all day every day, and then next thing you know, like, you know, like, oh, your gym shut down and you're broke and you can't afford a gym membership yet.
Yeah.
If you have to wait a month, that whole month, you're gonna be like, what the is my purpose?
Yeah.
Like, what am I even here for?
And there's it's like a two-sided coin for that. There's one side where it could be a positive thing because, you know, reflection is important. Meditation is important. Being alone is important. If you spend most of your life not being able to be alone, that's a pretty big red flag as a human being. And I found that out now. But overall, you know, you need to, being bored in general, I feel like that's what social media is like preying on. They want you to be like bored people because if you're bored, you're going to hop on social media and you're going to sit there scrolling. But then once you're off of it, you're back to being bored because you have no purpose. Yeah. And people who have an actual purpose, I guarantee you, are not sitting on social media and scrolling.
I remember too, what was it? I think they said on Instagram is like the worst place you can go because they said Instagram just makes you feel broke, makes you feel like a fat that's out of shape. Like it makes you feel, because so many of the posts on Instagram, the popular ones is like the top fitness models, top athletes, top, you know, money makers. And it's like, it just depends on, you know, if you spend enough time on there and if you're in a bad place in life, it can make you feel like your life is worthless because you're looking at everybody's who's at the top level and you're like, man, what am I doing?
Dude, like sometimes when I like open Instagram now and I see like the first picture is just some fucking dude who's like more jacked than me, I'll fucking exit out of that shit. Like I'm not about to go down that rabbit hole, bro. Like, no, thank you. Like, you know, I know what I've accomplished in life, and it's you know, as long as I keep growing, then that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I was just talking to a few artists about, you know, like because, you know, when I hopped into the native circuit, like, you know, I mean everybody knows it, people just don't say it, but it's like that's where the money's at. Like if you're native and you're a native artist, like there's so much grant money out there for everybody. Yeah. Like it's crazy, but like, you know, I've gotten some pretty big paychecks from performances and stuff, and it's not to brag or nothing, but it's just like I talked to some native artists and I'm like, yo, like, you know, what's the most you ever gotten paid? And some of them be like, I've gotten like 500 for a show. And I'm like, dog, what? Like, because it is not to like flex on them or nothing like that, but it's just like, I think because I live in my own head a lot that I don't realize the shit that I really be doing. Yeah. And I don't talk about it enough. So it's like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to brag about shit, but then I sit back and like you said, reflect, meditate and think about some shit, and I'm like, damn, I'm really doing some shit out here. Yeah. But it don't feel that way. It's just like when you're in the gym, like, if you're lifting and you're sore and you go the next day and you're doing your best, it don't feel like you're actually doing a lot. Like you feel like, damn, I'm not lifting enough.
You get conditioned to it.
Yeah, and but then when you completely stop, then you start realizing like, I was in shape. Yeah, I know. You don't realize what you were doing until you're not doing it. And I think that people want this. It's almost like people are looking for this level of comfort. Like, when am I gonna feel good? When am I gonna feel better at, like, you know, like with boxing, it's like, you know, some people can't even do a minute on the bag. Some people can't do 2 minutes. But, you know, what they don't realize is that you start at 1, then you go to 2, then you go to 3. And I think everybody thinks that, you know, like if you're not doing 3, you're a piece. But it's like, even those people who are doing 3 minutes had to build up to that. People have to build up. But you don't realize, you know, because you're the one doing the work, because you're in it, you don't realize how much you're actually doing. Right. Until you sit and reflect, or until you hear other people's accounts. Not to compare yourself to other people, but when you hear what they're doing, it's like, whoa, like I'm actually doing some shit.
Yeah, I feel like if you reach a point where you're like, you know that you've done a lot, but you're also still unsatisfied to the point it's making you depressed, step back from it. Because I guarantee you, when you do, you're going to appreciate it a lot more when you come back. You'll be like, holy shit, I was amazing at this, like you said. And you won't, sometimes you just won't know that until you like give yourself time to reflect and be alone, and, you know, then you can really like put things to perspective, because a lot of people, I feel like as a society, we're moving way too fast now.
Yeah.
Like scrolling, sitting on Instagram, watching reels, TikToks, whatever, which is ultimately shortening our attention span.
Yeah.
And that will translate into your entire life.
Yeah.
You know.
Some days I'll be feeling guilty about like scrolling, because I'm like, I'll be scrolling, and then I'm like, I feel dumber.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I feel dumb. Like,
of course.
And then I'll be like, oh man, like, and I'll be like, I need to go do something, and then like, just, like not even a minute later, I'm like, open it back up, and I'm scrolling, and I'm like, and then I just feel like, damn, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's a program. It's a program that you have to break.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we had to take a little quick break here, but I just overheard that this is your first podcast ever.
Yeah. Oh wait, your first video podcast.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll count that.
First recorded. Yeah. Virgin.
Wow.
Not
hey,
anymore.
also I heard you were talking about LA. What do you not like about LA?
How much time we got?
You know what? I think Kevin would be better to receive this message.
We'll lead into that with Kevin.
Here, Kevin, you want to take over?
Yeah, let's talk about California, because California is just not it.
Oh, shit.
Man,
jeez, got me.
I think California is like the coolest and dumbest place on earth, because it's like the vibes are really cool there, but like it's the people for me. Like the mentality. I think the mentality. Like I was kind of talking about how like LA is the place you go when you make it, not when you're trying to make it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who are trying to make it in LA. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how to explain the type of people there. I don't want to bash too hard, but
I mean, let's be real. They're grimy as fuck out there. Like they're grimy. Like it's like if they can get $1 out of you, they're gonna get 2 out of you.
Oh man, I remember my sister. Like she comes out here thinking that like to LA, thinking that it's exactly what the movies are like. That, oh yeah, I have this dream, this, and she's trying to make some kind of music. So we're walking around in Rodeo Drive. What? Oh, Rodeo Drive.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, like she met this dude who's selling like designer stuff, and then he's like, oh yeah, we're a one-stop shop, blah 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 with music. I'm like, bro, but you're working at this designer place as a sales rep. So why are you trying to charge my sister $5,000 to make a song? What?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, this is the best. Look on my PDF. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look you up on social media, and then I don't see shit. It's only this stupid PDF. So I'm like, and that's my first experience with LA.
Like to me, like the culture of it is just all money making. Everybody's trying to survive. Everybody's trying to get something for themselves, and then it becomes this point where it's not even like a front no more. That's just who they are. Like snaky people. Like you'll meet people who are like snaky in life in general, and you can kind of sense like, oh, this person's kind of like, I feel like they're being fake. But then out there, it's like it's just part of their identity now. I wouldn't say everybody, but it's like most people who are trying to like, who don't have anything established are trying to. That's just becomes part of their personality. It's part of their DNA to just be fake as and just like, be super agreeable and be like, yeah. It's like, I don't know. I haven't read that book. What is it, like the 48 Laws of Power or whatever? But that's manipulative as. It's really just manipulation, and that book teaches people how to like for instance, if I want something out of you, I'm gonna stroke your ego and make you feel like you know way more than me, even if you don't. But I'm gonna make you feel that way because you'll be more likely to help me.
Yeah,
it wouldn't even be help. It's just like you're giving me something that I want, and they understand that out there, so they make you feel like a boss. They make you feel like a king, and then they just like, oh yeah, so that'll be $500. For whatever service they're trying to give you. And you don't think none of it because you're just like, you're happy to be out there.
A lot of them are incompetent. I mean, not a lot. Like a majority of this batch is incompetent in the industry. And they're like, yeah, well, I'm really good at this, bro. Like, then you hire them and you realize that they're just and they're expensive. And you're like, well, I could get this in North Dakota for free, honestly. But okay, now we're going to have to find a way how to replace someone on set, because I worked in the movie industry for a bit, and it's just another world of drama. But I mean, even just in general, just like a normal 9-to-5 person, I had issues connecting with people because I'll go ahead and someone's cashiering. And then out here in the Midwest, you could go ahead and say, hey, how you doing? And then they're connecting with you. They're having conversations. But in California, they're like, yeah, everything's fine. How you doing? And then you have to say fine too, because they don't give a what goes on with you, and that they don't care. It's just I don't know. I felt
I'm the king of shutting down. So when people do that type of stuff, like if I know they're being fake, they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? I'm just like, good. And then I'll just like not even look at them, not even just because it's like because I know what they're doing. It's like a lot of the I compare a lot of the love in LA to like stripper love. Where it's just like they just know how to make you feel good, even though they don't really give. It's like, give me my money, get the f- out of here. Who's next? I wouldn't say that like that's just LA to me. Like I recently this past summer went out to Oakland, and I got to perform in San Francisco just last month. So like the love in North Cali is mad different than like Middle Cali, and then Southern California is like really dope too, like San Diego. Like I like San Diego, and I like Northern California, but it's like everything in LA, like around that area, can just like you can just off. Like I don't want to go around there.
Yeah, I'm really cool with the Santa Monica Canyon community, but it is literally a community. It's a small little town.
Yeah.
They call it the Rustic Canyon, and I know people out there. Some of them are like fresh out of Germany, and they're like entrepreneurs, but they're like so down to earth, bro. Do you know that one of my friends, that's like my client, he raises chickens in his backyard? I mean, this is like how down to earth this dude is, and he's worth like. He's out there. Yeah. So.
Well, and I think like our value in life is like I think a lot of people compare it to money. Like for instance, like in in most people's eyes, I'm broke right now. But what I can do to make money is beyond what most people can do. Like I can shoot a video for somebody. I can take them and record them and mix and master their whole shit, do the album art I could do a lot of stuff for people on a musical level, on a visual level. But also I can do like handyman work and like manual labor. So it's like a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people they only have like one skill in life. And I think that like, like being native, that's kind of what we had to do growing up. We had to be good at everything. And just like on an artist level in North Dakota, it's like, you don't have a lot of like, that's cool that there's a studio here. Like there's, SpacePod Studios. Like it's dope to have that. But where, coming from Devil's Lake, like the closest studio is maybe in like Bismarck, that you could actually pay and whatever. So it's like, now I started mapping it out when I was younger. I was like, so I have to drive 2.5 hours to record at $80 an hour.
Yeah.
So I have to pay gas there, which, $40-$50 there and back, $100. So I have to pay close to $400 to record.
That's before inflation, by the way.
Yeah. So it's like, if I have to do all that, like, I'm just going to figure out how to do it myself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where all that mentality started from, was like out of necessity. And that's kind of how it is on the res. Like, when you don't have something, it's like, you got to do it yourself. You got to figure it out. Like you might not always have a ride to Walmart, and most reses, the closest Walmart is like an hour and a half away. So it's like we were really blessed where we were at.
Yep.
And I didn't realize that till I got out. And I think a lot of people don't realize, like when you're from a small town or wherever you're from, you don't really realize how blessed you are until you get out. And most people will never like go certain places in their life. So like being able to take all of that, all those lessons, and then come home with it and start teaching people like we, Peyton, our boxer, like kid was only like 17 at the time, but we took him to Albuquerque. We had some music going on, but that was during the pandemic. So like, that summer he came, being 17, never really leaving the res, he went all the way to Albuquerque. So he got to see everything in between.
Yeah.
And it was like, it opened his mind to realize that like, we ain't stuck here, and you got to make, but the thing is you got to like make your own, way. And I think that's what people don't realize, like on a musical level as an artist, like they don't realize that like I had to like figure out how to get there. I had to figure out who to meet, and the way that it all happens is just getting out and doing it. I didn't just go on Facebook and be like, who's the best rapper in this area? It's like I had a show there. I took advantage of the opportunity. I went and ended up meeting some people, and then it expands like that. But people think that like there's just like this hub you go to, not Pornhub, but like there's a hub that you go to where you just like have automatically access to all these different connections. It's like you got to get out and make them. And I think that people don't understand that. So, I don't know. I think that, like a message to a lot of younger artists is like, you guys just got to get out and start doing it.
Oh, yeah.
They just got to, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to get out there and make mistakes. Just like we were talking about when you were like, you were afraid of looking dumb on camera or whatever. It's like the only way you're ever going to get over that is by getting in front of the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, and everything, when it organically happens is like, it's for the best, because it's like, at least we're not sitting here trying to fake it and taking multiple takes and being like, oh, it needs to be perfect. You know, it's going to be what it's going to be, and just let it be that. That's the rawness that's missing I think in a lot of industries now, is like just letting people, that movie Oppenheimer. Do you hear about that? The Christopher Nolan movie. And it's like everybody had to act in that movie, which is like, and the reason why it was such a dope movie for a lot of people was because everybody's genuinely acting in there. They have to act.
Yep.
Now you can look at the Fast series. Like everybody they just replace all the acting with CGI and crazy stunts, to amuse people. But it's like I think we're getting back to a point where people are getting tired of the same old shit. And it's like we want some realness now. So
well, that's why YouTube has been like more naturally get into that, because the people who do have the fancy graphics and stuff, we're kind of like watching it a little, and then we're like, I don't know how to explain the feeling, but I kind of got tired of watching this fancy stuff. I prefer the realness of just the grind and stuff. I mean, another thing is too, if I used to like Drake a lot, and that was during the times when he was like in his grind stage building. Now he's all popular and famous, and always hitting these records, and now it's like, it's not hitting me anymore.
Yeah, I get excited when Drake actually raps.
Yeah,
because he's dope at that, but he understands the game. He's gonna make stuff that women like. He's gonna make everything that it's like what was it, Cat Williams, when he was talking about like he had this stand up where he was like, I got a bottle of Alizé. He's like, I don't drink Alizé, but bitches do. It's like a lot of people are just catering to their audiences, and just trying to do things that get their likes up, keeps them relevant or whatever. And if that's what you got to do to whatever, like cool, but that's just not the route that I wanted to take in life. So
yeah. One thing I wanted to mention about is I used to call North Dakota scene, the music scene, the fishbowl, because we think we're famous out here because everyone knows us, and it's because we're in a fish tank. But once you leave the fish tank, you realize that we're in a big ocean. Yeah. And one thing, as much as we talk bad about California and Los Angeles, it humbled me a lot, because I realized that you ain't shit, because there's plenty of other people that do what you do. So, but
to add on to that though, like it's like some of the biggest artists, it's people like us creating for them. People don't see that side of it, like, and people could say I'm exposing the industry. Let's just call it what it is. That it's like the people who aren't super attractive, the people who aren't dressed the best or whatever, people who don't have that personality to be like the top guy in the industry, because you have to have a certain mentality with that. You got to not give a fuck about people. You got to not give a fuck what people think. But it's artists like us, the independent ones who are looking for a shot, are the ones creating for those big names. Like you mentioned Drake, Quentin Miller wrote the game-changing flow that Drake presented on that album. If you're reading this, it's already too late. Like I was running through the six with my, like, Quentin Miller wrote that. Yeah. The song Rico with him and Meek Mill, like that's Quentin Miller. Jeez. And like there's reference tracks out, like there's all kinds of chaos behind that when it got exposed, but it's like it's independent artists that are creating the waves for all these big artists. Like I remember seeing this one thing, somebody exposed Kendrick on that song DNA, he's like, I got, like there's another SoundCloud rapper who had like 100 plays on a song, had that in his hook. And Kendrick, mysteriously ended up with a similar melody. So
I didn't know that one.
so that, it's like there's a lot of independent artists, a lot of people who are on the come up, who are creating for the bigger names, but the bigger name gets all the credit. Don't nobody care about. It's just fucked up, in a wide spectrum of things, but people don't care about Quentin Miller. They don't give a shit if he wrote it or not. Drake did it.
Yeah.
They're just, in a lot of people's minds, it's like, oh, who cares? But, to the artists who are passionate, it's like, we care, because he should be getting the credit he deserves instead of getting pushed under the rug, swept under the rug and pushed aside. Like, if somebody's creating a game-changing thing, they should get the credit for it.
Yep.
But that's why I don't like LA. That's why I don't. That's the mentality there is like, create this for me. We're gonna blow it up. Okay, you did your job. Now go sit over there. Well, let you know, let so and so cook.
Yeah.
That's like me writing for you, and then you drop one of the hardest songs ever, and then you know they're like, dang, did you come up with that on your own? And you're like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I wrote that. You know, and to be able to sit there and actually like be like, whoa, like to believe that within yourself is like you gotta be delusional to carry on that like act. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But that's why I don't like LA.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, even though everything's more expensive out there, and I'm like looking at there, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's okay paying was it like $6 a gallon? You know, that's normal, right? Maybe in your area."
I feel like too, it's like when people see that, it's like, well, then you appreciate the $3 gas out here.
Oh yeah, yeah, that $3 gas is cheap though. The only thing though is that I have to drive Bismarck a lot, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, even $3 is $60, but that's not bad going back and forth. If it was LA, it would have been like what, $150, you know, like ooh.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't been to North California. I wish I was there, but I don't want to spend $300 to drive the same mileage as Bismarck.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I think you know, I think that as an artist, it's like understanding, you know, the world, or you know, I wouldn't say the world. I haven't been like around the world or nothing like that, but just being around the country, I've realized that like, you know, everything that they're doing out there, you can do at home. Everything that they're doing in those studios, you can do it in your bedroom. That's why when I went home from LA, from that experience, I was like, you know, you could either let something make you or break you. And for me, I decided to, you know, start over and just be like, make music that's true to where I'm from, make music that's true to our people, and you know, be able to tell our own stories and eventually inspire people to do that too. Like, you know, even on the boxing level, like, you know, as a boxing coach, you know, I never boxed. Mm-hmm. And people discredited me at first for that until they seen the fighters that I developed. Yeah. You know, like specifically Peyton, like that boy was smacking the shit out of some of these guys. Yeah, and their coach had 50, 60 fights. So it's like, okay, you know, so it's like any avenue you hop into in life, if you don't have credentials, like people just discredit you right away. But it's like, if you have the persistence and the ambition to want to like really, really believe, you know, if you believe in yourself that you can be good at something, you know, you can thrive in it. And, you know, like with boxing, I was young. When I was young, I watched it all the time. And I watched their footwork. I watched how things worked, because any sport, I mean, you know, it's like, you know, Phil Jackson was a decent NBA player, but he produced, you know, as a coach, look what he did with Kobe and Michael Jordan.
Yep.
You know, did he have to be Michael Jordan and Kobe level to get them there? No. But you have to have some understanding. But anyways, like, yeah, with boxing, it's like, that was kind of what I realized as a coach was like, people are going to try to discredit everything about you if they don't know you. And there's some coaches who have, you know, 100, 200 fights that can't coach for, you know, they got no patience. They got they can't help a kid understand, you know, how to do what they do, because I don't even think, you know, they just naturally are so good at it, or they worked at it, that sometimes they can't break that down for somebody. So, you know, it's not even about, what, you know, it's not even about us. It's about who we're trying to help. It's about these kids. It's about the youth or whoever it is that you're coaching. Like, we don't matter, you know, if you have an ego as a coach, it's like, maybe you should like go fight again, you know, like maybe this ain't for you, you know, and that's okay. But I think it's just one of those things that's like generational, where it's like, oh, so-and-so was a boxer, they'd make a good coach. It's like, that's not always true. Yeah. And I think people don't understand that, because, you know, just because it's like, it's like a conditioned kind of mentality that people have behind it, where it's like, if this is this, then this should be this too. But it's not always like that.
Yeah. So, Stuart, how long have you been working together? How long we knew each other for? You?
Since I believe 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We met at the rap battle, and that pretty much changed the whole KG photography lifestyle game. Just by that, because I didn't know anyone in the scene, but was it Sneaky the Sneakster? He's the first rapper that came to me, and that was because of Darvin's at the time. And he goes ahead and says, "Oh yeah, let's do a photo shoot, blah blah blah." So I did that, and the next thing you know it, I did that. Matt Sapp popped into the picture. He's like, "Oh, I'm doing a rap battle with DJ Lex." I was like, "Oh, cool." So I met you there, and then I think you just randomly gave me back in '09 the CD. You just like, "Here you go, bro." And it's during, I took that CD really serious and started listening to it. I was like, damn, this guy is freaking cool. And I feel that vibes, the vibes I felt really serious because, my stepdad, he's from Standing Rock. And I lived on the res for like only a few months. So like, that few months, I felt like I've been there for a while, even though you grew up and raised out there. So I was like, damn, like, I feel this totally, like.
Yeah. Well, I think that, it takes a minute for things to like kind of blossom, I guess, or develop, because even as an artist, the stuff that I talk about when I first started talking about it at the time, people were like, this ain't cool. Like, this is kind of boring. This is whatever. But now it seems like those same people that said that they're making that same type of music. Like this consciousness awakening in hip hop is becoming the thing now, but it's like been doing that.
Oh, I love that, man.
So it's imagine the persistence you have to keep doing something that people aren't feeling, I guess my mentality wasn't driven by hoping people like it. It was like, people need to hear this. And so at some point it eventually develops into, the cool thing or whatever. But I think my intent behind it was simply to tell our stories and not, didn't really care if people liked it or not. That was what made me happy. That made me feel good. And it's still like that now. It's like, but, becoming on a higher level as an artist, it's like you have to push the envelope. You have to do certain things to kind of like, because it's like if you're just doing, it's like on a Joe Dirt, Snakes and Sparklers, like if you just keep doing what you like and not caring about what your listeners like, sometimes it's like you gotta take all that into account and be conscious of all of that, even though it's hard to do because it's like you don't want to get caught up in either too much. But when you find the right balance, like, that's what matters, I think.
Yep. So, let's see here. We used to make music videos together, and honestly, I missed that a lot because I remember our first one we did. It was kind of cold. It was snowy. And it's funny because this summer is not like that. I mean, this summer, that's when this winter is not like that at all. It's not like there's no snow on the ground. Yeah. It's not like we're out here freezing. I'm like, I remember when me and you, we all decided to live together, and next thing you know, we're out here like filming the cypher, and I'm like, I remember those times. I still remember those times. It felt the best. It felt magical because freaking.
Well, a lot of it is spontaneous. Like when you just let the energy take over, you just let the vibe go. Then it's like, instead of worrying about trying to make it look perfect, it's like you work with what you got. That's like
that was fun.
That's like the rawness of like hip hop, and I think that that feeling of hip hop is what matters. That feeling is something a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people rap, but they don't understand hip hop, and I think that the essence of hip hop is, it's to tell the stories of like, the voice of the oppressed. That's my understanding of hip hop. And being able to tell the story the way that you feel, being able to, just like photography, you and me could shoot the same thing but see it differently. And it's kind of like that with music. It's like a lot of us feel the same way. A lot of us, we mentioned certain things about rap music, about how some rappers like are broke as shit, but they be talking about getting money.
Yep.
And we laugh at that. And a lot of people feel the same way. It's just a lot of people won't say it. A lot of people won't laugh about it because it's like, I don't want to be a hater. And to me, I'm just like, be yourself. Like, I don't care. I say what I say. Like, Facebook is the worst. I post on there just because I think it's funny. Yeah. And people really, really like get mad and they try to argue, and I'm just like, bro, like, it's not that serious. Like, but I guess if you feel offended, that's cool. But it's like, if you're offended by like maybe take some reflection and look at yourself. Like, if take some time to reflect. Like, if you're offended by something I posted on Facebook, what does that say about you? Yeah. And if it's true, what are you mad at? It's like, but I think that's that's just something that comes with it. It's like, if I offend somebody, that's not the intent. But I'm just going to say what's on my mind, and everybody has a platform to do the same. If you decide to or not, that's on you. But you could say the same in opposition of me. You could say a lot of stuff too. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I just always had I've just always had like, the audacity to say things that a lot of people think, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to break the wall here and talk to the audience here. And I would say one thing I do love about him is when he performs, he doesn't need no beat. He just goes ham to the mic and rap off of thin air. Well, and I got to get you on that, man.
Yeah,
I got to get you on that.
like it's crazy how like this, like I have a verse that the song is called Say Less. And when I did it, the first line that came to my head was like, "Fuck, boys always want to fight, but they can't." It's like, so that eventually, the way I said it in my head sounded really cool. So I started like building off that, boys always want to fight, but they can't. And then like the way that I write is like fight, but they can't. What rhymes with that? It's like knife in their hand, So what that did is it sparked into this verse where I was like, boys always want to fight, but they can't. They be real loud with a knife in their hand. Where were y'all boys when the U.S. Gov was trying to kill the earth laying pipe in the land? Bitch, I been cool like Sprite in a can. I'll be having money sitting tight in a band. Ask about me, damn right on the man. Never met a rapper that would fight with your man. I'ma speak what they quote. You a sheep, I'm a goat. If you hating on me, take a D to the throat. Got some G's for the show. I'ma need me some more. Rez boy went from the D to the coast. Been a G with the flow while the beef made me grow. This really ain't new. If you seen, you would know. One day I'll be riding so clean to the coast. I'ma have my peeps rolling deep in the rows. I ain't really worried about what everybody else do, cause everybody really only worry about themselves. Fool, you ain't gotta listen to what everybody tell you. Circle been small like a motherfucking belt loop. All I do is work. I ain't talking 9 to 5. They already know the name and the state that I reside. This for non-believers. If you hate and be advised, you could catch a 2-piece and I won't forget the fries.
Yeah.
Say less, do more.
And that is when people start cheering in the crowds because do you have that on tape yet?
Yeah,
I
mean, I never put it out yet, but like,
yeah, because I was about to say like we never recorded it, but we seen it and then
yeah,
stuff. And
well, I think that it's become a thing where like when we were younger, with some of the people I started with, it was my cousin Chance, my cousin Ryan. They went by Lunacy and Resin, and we had this group called Native Soldiers, and it was like we had to rap our shit out in front of each other because we all had to approve of each other's. So It was like, if you rap something and it was kind of whack, they were like, nah. With like that, like a lot of that was cool, but that line kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Maybe change that. Nowadays, it's like people be writing. They don't surround themselves with that type of energy. So people just be saying whatever, and there's nobody there to check them for it.
Yeah.
So the artistry kind of gets lost because it's like, we did a workshop recently, and this kid was like, he was just rhyming. Right. And he said like, and I think like the line was something about block. And this kid was like, on the block with my Glock. And I looked at the kid and I was like, do you have a Glock? And he was like, no. I was like, all right, maybe you shouldn't say that then.
Yeah.
And I think that like, that's what needs to happen with people in these days. That's what needs to be more implemented in music, where people are consciously writing with, consciously thinking, okay, is that what you want to tell people? If your kid is listening to this, do you want to be talking about that? If your grandma's listening to this, do you want to be saying that? And, I think like a lot of the stuff that I write, like I said, like it's a little absurd, but it's not something if my grandma was in the audience, I mean, she's gone, RIP, but it's like, if she was in the audience, I'd still rap it. And she would look at it and be like, but that's my boy. It's like, because she knows that's who I am. I'm not being out of character. I'm not acting out of pocket because I say this type of shit all the time. I act this way all the time. I think this way all the time. So it's like, if I'm saying like, if you hating on me, take a D to the throat, it's like, suck a d- I don't give a fuck if you're hating on me. Like, I really don't care, because I'm gonna keep doing what I'm gonna do anyway. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
We're
not gonna rap about strippers and stealing someone's girlfriend real quick or whatever it is that people be rapping about now.
I just be laughing at rappers like I really find it borderline like kind of and then maybe this is just my mind going a little too far, but it's like, I just be thinking like people who like stealing people's girls, like maybe they're secretly in love with the dude, and they like, let me get some leftovers, bro. Like I want that, bro. I don't know, like that's just my mind, but it's like it's weird, it's weird when people brag about like stealing someone's woman. It's
that's
like,
why I stole your girl, bro.
It's like, okay, that's cool, man. Like that's cool, but But I think, you know, I think music is getting back to the essence of it's starting to get back to where it started, which was, you know, sharing vibes and messages with people.
Yeah, I am so glad the gangster, like I'm not talking about the NWA gangster rap. I'm talking about that. I came by and I started shooting people up, blah 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 blah. I'm like,
Yeah.
and that was big during the past 2 years. And then they'll do that stupid tracing graphic musical
Yeah.
shit with their guns and shit. And I'm like, bro, you haven't killed anyone before. Why are you rapping about this? And I'm like, oh man.
I mean, it's just it's kind of one of those things that's like cultural, regional. Like, if you grew up around people that did that, a part of you glorifies that. Like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I understand. I'm not completely ignorant to like certain things. Like, if you grew up in an environment where that's necessary, or people have done that, or your brother shot somebody and gave you a gun or whatever, like there's certain things that are true about that. But they be embellishing that, and it's kind of like I don't know. I seen this meme that just made me laugh because it wasn't directly directed at one city, because I've seen the same meme like 5 different ways, but it was like, oh, like I ain't in Chicago, and it's like, oh, me neither. Oh, should we move to North Dakota and be like superstars? And it was like, I seen one about California or one about Washington, but it's, you know, it's like I could move to California and bullshit my way through everything, but would I feel good about that? Probably not.
Nah.
And there's a lot of natives out there, like it gets deep, but there's a lot of natives out there that be doing that type of stuff. They'll go and run a sweat lodge and, you know, like say, you know, do all this and charge people, you know, like, oh, I'll smudge your house give me 500, and people do it because they don't understand, they don't know better. Like those are and it's like that with a lot of things. Like, a lot of people are duping people into paying for stuff that shouldn't even be charged. Like, even music, you know, like there's a lot of engineers that, you know, send me 150 for your mix. And it's like, you know, for me, I'm just one of those people that's like, I don't have that in my budget, bro. Like, and then what their mentality is like, oh, you don't care about your music, you don't want to invest in yourself. And it's like, well, I bought the program to edit this and I figured out how to do it myself. So yeah, I did invest in it. Just because I'm not paying you to do it for me doesn't mean that I don't care about it. I would just rather figure it out myself. That's my mentality, is like, I don't have the money to pay for that, and I never have paid for it. So it's like, I'm just going to continue to do it myself because it's working.
Yeah.
And at some point, I mean, if something better comes, if I'm able to get more money to handle that, then I'm going to do that. But it's working. So why would I change that? Why would I try to like switch it up just because you're trying to make me feel guilty for not paying you?
All right. So, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty. We'll see what happens in the final cut. But, you know, when the cameras overheat, it's just time to toss more money into the into the world. Time to hustle up so I get another camera, because the Canon R6 just likes to overheat. You know, but the new one works really perfect. So cool.
Damn Canons, man.
Oh yeah, it's just that one.
Switch to Sony. You never have
that's
that
it.
problem.
I'm happy with my setup. I love my setup. Okay, so we're gonna start with some sponsors, get some bills paid. So the first one is brought to you by, what is it called? UniversePod? Oh man, forgot that one here. It's about it's called SpacePod Studios. Nah, this is where it takes place at SpacePod Studios. It's pretty much, we do podcasting, we do music videos, we do photo shoots, we do everything, and this is where you go. You get pretty much amazing quality. I would say it's one of the best studios in the Midwest, northern area that is commercial grade. I know some of you guys have some underground stuff going on, you know, like Stuart, you know, you got a nice little studio going on, Stuart, that's underground. But this place for commercial grade that you could just walk in and say, hi, this is one of the hip hop studio places to go to. Another thing we do have is that it's sponsored by pretty much my clothing business. It's called KG Lifestyle Supply, which my partner here screws up on, because he looks at this like, KG Lifestyle Group. Yeah, this is the production and organization. In fact, we're all members in this room, and it's just pretty much to help each other out. But back to the clothing business. It's a print-on-demand company. It's not just me designing it. It's legitly the whole. There's a bunch of different groups. Sooner or later, we're gonna get more artists, more independent future people to start having their own clothing brand. But it's like the independent zoomies, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's brought up by KG Lifestyle Supply. And then, of course, KG Lifestyle Group is the organization that's running this whole entire deal. We're all a bunch of families together representing that. I was about to change it to Strong Life, but half the members were like, no, we're going to keep the KG on there because it's already been branded. And I was like, I guess I was just trying to be humble. I don't want to be, I guess we're going to be Disney, and founded by Disney. It could be Disney. Okay. But back to everything else. If anyone's wanting to do a feature, it is $100 starting from right now. It might go up, just giving you a heads up. But at the moment, it's $100 just to get a feature in here. So if you're trying to get on here, just put down there. We're just trying to pay some bills. It's not much of a profit thing. Just keeping the power on. So if you want to be featured, check it out as well. If you're trying to get some sponsors on here, trust me, we're not going to screw up like we do with our own stuff. Just let us know. We have a little fee going on. We can negotiate. We get some sponsors out here. So, and don't forget to like and subscribe, please. We got to get some likes and subscribes, man. Palien doesn't mention about this stuff on here. Like and subscribe. Yeah, I got it. Well, we're going to team up on this, But, yeah, see, he's yelling in the background, even though they were chit-chatting when we were interviewing. But next time I'm going to stay quiet on set. But, yeah. Anyways, we're going to wrap this up. Is there anything else you want to put out? Some words of wisdom or something?
I think that, the whole reason why I started making music was to inspire people. And I just hope that some of the words that, I've shared through this just helps people not be afraid to pursue what they want. I feel like we all have the skills in front of us. You could pick up your phone and learn anything. And I think that at this point, there's no excuses. If you have an ambition and you have a goal in life, like, get up and do it. Otherwise, don't say that's what you want to do. There's no excuses at this day and age. Like, I started at a time where resources were very limited. So if I can do it, with very little, like, anybody can do this. Like, you can pick up your phone and do everything. You can create media with your phone alone. Just stop making excuses is what I want to say to people, because everybody has something to offer in the world. Everybody's got some kind of gift that they can share with people, and if they decide to do it or not, you can make the world a better place if you want, but if not, then just stay out of the way.
Exactly.
Don't get in my way.
Exactly. And my little words of wisdom is, if you feel like you're getting a little popular in town, go for a drive. Even if you're feeling a little depressed, go for a drive. Go to Florida. Go to Texas. Something. Get out your little comfort zone. And just know that we're still human beings. And even though we know each other out here, you don't know each other somewhere else. So, it makes you stronger, makes you smarter. And, like our previous podcast, client, he said it's okay to learn from others. I think he says, it's okay to be the dumbest person in the room, because at the end of the day, you're learning things. So, and we are going, we'll drop a link there if you want to follow. It's coming out soon. So if this video comes out before his podcast, the link will pop up magically later on in the future, but you got to check out this stuff. Some really good stuff coming on. We're also going to drop in all of Stuart James's information. So if you want to follow him, you haven't seen him yet, you got to check it out. All that's in the description. All Palien stuff is in the description. All my stuff is in the description. Check it out. Enjoy it. All right. I think that's it. Thank you for coming in, bro. And we're out. Hey.